Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. Let me give myself an applause. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? So, yeah, man, it's been an interesting journey. I am over here in Romania. I'm in Bucharest to be exact. You can probably see out of my window. I'll show y'all what my view look like. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. What's up, friends and family? I feel like it's been a while. I know y'all did the premiere yesterday. Um, but we here. We at it. So let me go ahead and get some of the housekeeping out of the way and we'll get straight into the show. All right. So first and foremost, I want to say I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. You guys are the greatest audience on earth. Shout out to Mike, that dude. Shout out to, I can't read Cash Apps right now because I'm actually using my camera phone to stream this live as far as the actual phone itself, even though I got my MacBook Pro here with me overseas. But shout out to y'all. Shout out to Mike, that dude. Shout out to ESDC. Shout out to Molly. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. Everybody that's in there. I appreciate y'all. So we got to address a couple things before we get started with the show. And then we're going to get it popping. All right. So thank y'all. It is Friday. There, it is Friday, 9:30 Eastern. Here, it is 7 hours ahead. It's 7 hours ahead. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right. Before we get into the show, let's start talking about that first. So, first and foremost, yesterday I flew to here, Romania, Bucharest. I don't even know if you would say yesterday, but yesterday I did. I had a 12-hour flight, and you can't fly directly to Bucharest from DTW. Some of y'all might have seen the vlog video that I dropped over in on the Anton Daniels channel about me. I was talking in the airport and then I was catching my flight. So you got to catch a 7.5 hour flight, 7.5 hour flight over to Frankfurt. And then you have to take a 3.5 hour flight from Frankfurt to Bucharest. All right. And so my layover time was like an hour and 45 minutes, maybe an hour and 30 minutes. So the first thing that I learned was I need longer layover times when you're flying overseas, because usually I'll find something that I can do direct. I usually have never have a layover in another country, but we wind up having a layover in another country. This is the first time I've ever had a layover in another country. So I need longer layover times because what I realize is that over in Frankfurt, Germany, they are very slow. They have the technology, they have the automatic, where you go and scan international travelers to get into places if you're from these particular countries and you got this type of passport or whatever, but they are incredibly slow. You would not believe the amount of people that probably lost their flights or missed their flights because they didn't have a longer layover time. So what I've learned is to have at least a 3 hour layover time anytime you have to stop over in another country. In my mind, I'm thinking, because I'm a bag chaser, What up to everybody in here? Shout out to P Shank. I'm gonna be reading y'all super chat shortly. In my mind, because I'm a bag chaser, I'm thinking to myself, I can't wait to only exclusively fly private when I have to go somewhere. Because man, I'm telling you, as much as because I had a Delta One, so we was laying on a plane and all of that. And as much as I'm cool with flying commercial and all of that, it's always another level. It's always another level to convenience. Can I afford to fly private? Sometimes it makes sense. Most times it doesn't financially. When it comes to my convenience and not having to deal with certain things and all of that, listen, that's my new goal. That is my new goal. My new goal, and this should be motivation to people. The new goal should always be to be better than you was before, and to be able to get more of your time back. Once you get to a certain level in life, your goal is to buy your time back. Is to make sure that you can make things more streamlined, more convenient, all of that. It's just to buy your time back. And so whether I gotta charter them as far as lease them out, and then eventually you get to the point to where maybe you can buy one yourself. Listen, that's the goal. My goal is within the next 10 years to be able to only exclusively fly private. Honest to God, because the possibility of missing your flight. Thank God, Rita walks over. We always send Rita. Me and Leslie, we always send Rita to go and be the bulldog and go and get to the people because she knows how to talk to people in order to get them to do what she want to do with her femininity. Rita goes over, talks to some guy in a gray tie. They say, talk to the guy in a gray tie. He wasn't even trying to hear me. He was just like, yeah, that's nice. You ain't really got no titties on you. Cool. I said, okay, well then let me go ahead and send Rita. Rita's looking all nice. She, you know what I'm saying? She doing what she do. I unzip that sweater just a teeny bit. Rita, go talk to him. Next thing you know, we getting right through. He take us right to the front of the line, and we can go and we can get our passports. You know what I'm saying? They go and look at our passports. That process is slow. Go over to the security. That process is slow. And then we wind up getting on our flight, the second flight, the smaller flight, to get over here to Bucharest, Germany. And it's beautiful over here. It's absolutely gorgeous over here. It is a little, what's the word that I would use? It's got an edge to it. It's like Paris with an edge. Now, Paris itself ain't all of that great itself either. But here, I'll show y'all what I look at outside of my window. So this is what outside my window look like. All right. So that's outside of my window. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I was out and about in the streets last night and all of that. So it was pretty cool. It's a great place to be. I went to a restaurant, experienced some stuff, went and shopped and all of that. So my view is gorgeous. Everything is great. Everything is absolutely awesome here, but it's a little bit of a language barrier, but it's dope. It's gorgeous. This place is absolutely dope. If y'all have never been to Bucharest, you should. I talked to a lot of people. They gave me a lot of insight. They told me about all of the foreign investment that's coming here. They told me about the infrastructure problems that they're having with all of the people moving here. It's over 3 million people here officially, but unofficially, they saying it's over 6 million people here. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. But it is. It's a great experience. It's an awesome place. Let me see what this is saying. It's a great experience. It's an awesome place. But I also will tell you this, because my flight, and the reason I told y'all the backstory about the flight is because my layover was so small in between airports when I flew into Frankfurt, Germany, I ain't got no luggage. The only things I had with me is everything that I can fit in my backpack. Thank God I always keep a travel pack with me. So I keep toothbrushes, I keep deodorant, I keep lotion, I keep my computers inside of my backpack, my iPads and all of that type of stuff. And I keep some drawers with me and some new wife beaters. That's it. Thank God that we all keep something in us, but they're literally on their way to deliver our luggage because they couldn't get the luggage from the other airplane, from the Delta airplane, onto the other airplane. And so now my luggage is just now starting to be on its way and it should be here within an hour. But again, got to keep that travel pack with me. And I keep this travel pack with me in every single place that I go. Like, it doesn't matter. It's always in my book bag. I keep toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, lotion, all of that stuff in a travel pack. And I got to keep some drawers and a wife beater, and you good. Long as you keep some drawers and a wife beater and that travel pack, you should be all right. So I'm operating with no luggage, no nothing. So yeah, that's the survival kit. That is the survival kit. And if you got money, you can buy everything else that you need whenever you get there. So yeah, man, I'm suffering. But last part of this story, so I'm 7 hours ahead of y'all. So here is whatever it is. So if it's 10:05, 4:42 here. 4:42 p.m. here is 9:42 a.m. Eastern back home. So what I usually do is I keep one phone that has the time back home, and then I keep another phone that has the time here. And then you know what I'm saying? I'm always aware of what's happening back home and what obligations I got to take care of versus what's happening here and how I can truly enjoy the city. But I'll take a nap. I hadn't slept in 2 days because I had pre-recorded the show. I'm getting stuff taken care of. I'm on top of it, whatever. I take a nap. Um, Rita falls asleep too. Next thing you know, she waking me up. Anton, Anton, Anton. I said, what? What's wrong? I think you missing the show. So then I missed after hours last night. Oh my God. I was so brokenhearted because I missed after hours. And let me tell y'all how you know that you loved. Let me tell you how you know that you loved. I know that I'm loved because everybody, and when I say everybody was calling my phone and hitting me up. My phone goes on sleep mode after a certain time, depending on what day of the week it is. So everybody was hitting me up and was like, "Hey man, are you all right? You okay? People worried about you. Oh my God, I can't believe it." And it's because people know that I don't miss. They know that I felt bad not only for missing, but I felt bad because it felt like I put people in a bad space because I didn't let them know what was going on ahead of time. So I woke up late for after hours. I said, all right, let me send all of these text messages. I love y'all. Y'all are the greatest group. That's why I love my chasers. Let me give a round of applause for the chasers real quick. I love my chasers. I love my bag chasers. I love the people that hold me down. I would never, ever in my life ever call anybody a fan because y'all are friends. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, let me tell you that the Patreon is a group of people that love you and go in the direction that you're going in. We help each. We don't just talk about money. We don't just get to the money. We don't just show receipts. We don't just give game insight, wisdom, and understanding. We also love each other. And so the Discord was up. Moderators was hitting me up. Of course, Mika and all of them was hitting me up like, "What is going on? What is you doing? Is everything okay?" So, I was looking at the comments after I posted the update and was saying that, yo, I missed. It's my mistake. I gotta own it. And people was like, "Oh man, I'm so glad that you getting rest. Thank goodness you finally slept." Hey, don't. That's one thing that y'all ain't never gotta pray for me on. Don't never pray for me to miss in order to be able to get my rest. Help me to modify my schedule, maybe slow down, add some things out. Pray for me to get additional workers, help, the right people around me, but don't ever pray for me to miss. I don't miss under any circumstances. I don't care. All right. So yeah, now that we got a little bit of rest in, now we back. So you can expect for the next 3 years for me not to ever miss again. So in that vein, I will be telling y'all that we will be doing a makeup show. I understand if it's a little off schedule or whatever, but we will be doing after hours tonight, and then I'm going to be doing after hours hopefully the next day. But we will be doing a makeup after hours, so we don't want no gaps in between what we doing. We don't take off. We don't do none of that. So I'll keep y'all up to date on what's happening with after hours. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my experience over the last day or so here in Romania, Bucharest, flying, experiencing the city. It's beautiful here, and then missing after hours. So I do take ownership and responsibility for missing. Please forgive me. I know that this is what y'all was expecting. And let me tell you something else that really bothered me. That really bothered me. That I was so angry, I had to just take a walk. What bothered me with missing the most is that I gave any competition that would stream at the time that I would stream some visibility. Because in my mind, I think, well, listen, if people aren't seeing me, what else are they seeing? And that bothered me. That bothered me. I said, they probably got some more visibility. This person probably got some more visibility. My competition probably was able to stream without no problems, and they was probably happy that I missed. I am one of the most competitive people that I've ever. I've never met anybody that's more competitive than me. I'm sorry. Forget the rest. I was looking like they probably thought that they came up. They probably thought that they did a good job. It's just because I wasn't on. It's only because I wasn't on at the time. Take your Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, but now the pressure is on. Now I'm pissed off. Now I'm pissed off. You thought that anybody thought that they got a leg up last night because I wasn't streaming. It's on. Now I'm going 10 times harder. Now I'm aggravated. You said their views went up. Like, oh, okay. Okay. All right. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, yeah, it's on. It's on. We're going to talk about the caravan. So, let me give y'all a little bit of a preview of what's going to happen in the show today. I'm about to read the super chats. We're going to get to it. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to get from there. All right. So, on the show today, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris's town hall. That's number one. We're going to go over a couple of different clips on that. We're going to get CNN's reaction to it because we want to get that perspective. We want to talk about Lil Durk. I want to hit y'all with quick hits. And I also want to talk about the migrant caravan that's coming over here and so much more. So we got a full show for y'all today. Buckle up. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Look, Garrett, you crazy. Make sure y'all tap. I don't want one extra view. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order. 20% off for life. 20% off for life. It's a lot of streamers that stream when you do and have a bigger audience than you. Not for long. I love that. I love that. Not for long. Because I'm not going to sleep until I catch them and pass them up. So I like that. Listen, I don't pay attention to what's behind me. I pay attention to what's in front of me. Don't worry. We going to get there. And remember, After Hours is the one that's the smallest. And we going to grow it. Guarantee you. 100,000 next year. 500,000 on the Anton Daniels by the end of this year. Millionaire Morning Show, ditto. We working. That's all right. Keep challenging me. Anyways, we'll get there. We'll get there. We got a lot going on. So make sure y'all get y'all tickets to the upcoming show. I'll be in Atlanta next weekend. Get your tickets, discount code Anton. We gonna work. We working. And guess what? Here's the thing. Here's the question. For everybody that's streaming that got a bigger audience than me and all of that, do they make more money than me? Across the board. That's the question. Do they make more money than me? Oh, I see you outside, baby. Oh, let me say another thing that happens here. They love smoking. Not trees, cigarettes. They smoke everybody here. Everybody here. Everybody here in Bucharest, they smoke like it's the 70s in the United States, in New York. Everybody got a cigarette in their hand. Smoking is a thing. I mean, straight up hardcore tobacco cigarettes with the people that got the messed up face on the front of the package. Everybody smokes here. Everybody smoke. It's crazy. Anyways, let's continue to rock out. Let's continue to get it. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're gonna go ahead and get it popping. Anybody that's sending me a cash app, I'll be reading that at a later date simply because I can't see it because it's on the device that I'm streaming on. P Shank says, "Morning, Mr. Anton and the Millionaire Morning Show." Shout out to P Shank. I appreciate you. Ken J says, "Listening to you helped me to understand how I need to really get on my purpose and get that bag. Just secured my first major contract for my software company worth over 50,000. Anton, thank you, bro. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. me say this. If you secured the 50K, and that's great, know that their budget was probably 180. If they gave it to you really fast, they probably had a budget of probably like 180. But congratulations. I love that. We're going to run it up. Shout out to the Chasers. Chase Barnes says, Happy Friday, AD and peeps. I see we finally found Anton. I was like, where is this man? I'm back. I'm back. Don Drill says, information changes things. That's a fact. Shout out to my dog, Don Drill. Luis Ramirez says, regime change in Iran, if not, is being somewhat isolationist. Worse the risk of them even obtaining nukes. Love the show. Shout out to you. Let's talk about it. Shout out to Lightfoot. Lil Lightfoot in the building. I'm only here to recommend a biblical documentary From America to Babylon. God bless and happy Sabbath. We gonna get there. Shout out to Lil Lightfoot in the building. And thank you for holding me down and thank you for supporting the platform. We forgive you. Shout out to Igga Please with the N-word, the Netflix N-word right before it. Jeweled Alchemy Soap Company says, Happy Friday, Anton. Thank you, Miss Rita, for everything that you do back Chaser for life. Shout out to the Lifetime Chasers. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. I am Annie Marie. Shout out to you for the super sticker. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate you. Geo Black in the building says, top of the morning time, you should try to catch up with Andrew Tate in Romania. That will be some good content. We'll see. We'll see. I'm always open to the possibilities of what if. All right, y'all ready to get into the show? Let's get to it. Let's just get straight to it. Quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to every individual subject, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's going on. After hours tonight. We not missing a night. All right. First things first. Lil Durk. Some of y'all may be familiar. Maybe some of y'all not so much. So, Lil Durk is a rapper out of Chicago. Ironic, right? Rapper out of Chicago. His guy, King Vaughn, obviously is deceased. A lot of drill rappers is dead in Chicago. But recently he was arrested on murder for hire charges. Check it out.
Hey Val, good morning. Lil Durk is charged in a murder for hire scheme. We're working right now to get more details on this investigation, but we know the 32-year-old was arrested Thursday by U.S. Marshals in Florida and is being held in custody. Earlier this month, Banks was sued for his alleged involvement in the deadly shooting of another rapper in Chicago, FBG Duck. That happened 4 years ago. Weekly's family says Banks had a hand in that gang-related shooting in 2020 in the city's Gold Coast neighborhood. Lil Durk and his team didn't comment on that lawsuit, but of course we'll be sure to provide you with an update when we learn more about the charges Banks is now facing.
We will be discussing this on After Hours tonight, obviously. It is a subject that I think needs to be discussed, not only when it comes to rappers or whether or not FBD Juck or whatever their names are and all of this stuff. I don't care about that part. The part that I care about is the culture. And I've been saying that the culture is trash. The very ones that get the key to the city, Diddy had got the key to the city, arrested. Lil Durk get the key to the city, arrested. The very ones that we celebrate the most, and y'all can't wait to, right after y'all listen to their lyrics, is the very ones that got murder for hire plots. And you know what I hear from people as soon as I start to see this? Well, what about this person? Well, what about this person? Well, what about the pharmaceutical companies? No, what about the people that you are directly influenced by? Because he just did a concert in Chicago and 3 people were shot walking to it. Teenagers, 15-year-old. And it's sad. It's sad. Because again, I say it, money does not make you a better person. Money makes you more of what you already are. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Money does not make you a better person. Money makes you more of what you already are. And so now that you have money, the low level BS that you was a part of, as the people in the chat say, shout out to my chat because they are the co-hosts of the show. The low level BS that you was already a part of, guess what? Now you just have more money and resources to do more low level BS and to pay for people to get hit instead of you doing it yourself. And so if you're asking me, him facing life in prison is not necessarily a bad thing. When you are paying to have people killed, I am not at all feeling sorry for you. Even if the person that you're paying to have killed is just as destructive as you are. I don't feel sorry for it. And I know a lot of people gonna be having the free Lil Durk shirts on. We tired of this. We tired, boss. We tired of this low level cultural BS that's not conducive for America, for the community, or for the people that follow them. So good riddance. I do believe, let me preface this by saying that I do believe innocent until proven guilty. So, it is up to the federal prosecutors to ultimately prove that he really did do it, because I don't believe that anybody should be convicted in a court of public opinion alone. They have to prove that he did do it, because if you're accusing him of doing something that he didn't do, then that's one thing. All right. So I will be watching this closely. One thing is for sure, we'll never have a shortage of rappers. The lead attorney will never ever have a shortage of work of streaming to right up his alley, paying attention to what's going on in the culture and all of the things that's wrong with it, streaming these dudes, going through trials, and trying to figure out whether or not they should get a mistrial or not. So shout out to the lead attorney, and shout out to Lil Durk for giving us more content to pay attention to. In addition to that, Tiffany Henyard, our resident Dolton mayor, making close to $300,000 a year, or well over $234,000 a year. They're still trying to chase her in order to serve her these eviction papers. Check it out.
Happening tonight in the south suburbs, the woman who owns a Dalton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her out. NBC5's Regina Waldrop with the story.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
We do not have a quorum, so we will not be having a board meeting this evening.
With Thornton Township's board meeting canceled, Janetta Hull will have to find another way to serve an eviction notice to Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, also Dalton's mayor.
So now I have to pay a special process service in order to get them served, which is more fees for me.
Hull says she leased this home to Henyard and her boyfriend in 2021. She says the last payment came in August. She filed eviction papers last month. She says she's now owed $5,000 in back rent plus late fees. She says the couple was a no-show for a Zoom hearing Tuesday morning.
The sheriff's been out here a few times to serve them. For a household that makes, over $350,000 a year, I'm asking for pennies.
Hull says she hasn't been able to gain access to the home or garage to do maintenance.
I gave them 48 hours notice. And then I also texted them about 15 minutes before I got here. So there's a code on the garage, and then there's locks on the front door that were changed.
In a statement, an attorney for Tiffany Henyard told NBC5 no comment at this time.
Jesus.
Hull says she regrets renting to the couple.
I don't think the money is worth it. The cash up front is not worth it. I would have rather rented to someone who, is an honest.
Let me show you how disingenuous, even though we all love our resident chat villain, you have now been given the name chat villain, Eric D. Let me show you how ignorant Eric D sometimes is. As intelligent as he is sometimes, how ignorant he can be. Eric D, because the chat is my co-host, so I'm going to call y'all out when y'all say crazy stuff. Eric D says, no excuse for this landlord not to have served her by now. So we're villainizing the victim instead of holding accountable the person that didn't pay the rent. So the public official that don't pay the rent, don't show up to Zoom calls, she's hired sheriffs, process servers, all of this. And Eric D says he didn't say there's no excuse for her not to pay the rent. Let me show you how disingenuous Eric D is and how he says stuff, because I can't believe that Eric D has been around this long and he's still saying crazy stuff like this. And and this is why y'all shouldn't pay attention to him half the time, because he says stuff just to get y'all riled up, and I'm gonna point it out for y'all. He says it's no excuse for her as the landlord not to have served her. So the landlord, the sheriffs, and all of them have showed up at City Hall. They showed up at the township community meetings. And he's villainizing the person who owns the home, who could possibly get their home foreclosed on, instead of the person that's not paying the rent. Ladies Eric D is available for y'all. Swipe left, swipe right. We're going to put Eric D on the Balloon Pop show. Y'all, let me ask y'all a question. Is Eric D the kid in class that raises his hand to say something crazy just so he can get a laugh? Or just so everybody can go off on him so that he feels better about some of the stuff that he says, because if he don't get the attention that he wants, then he's going to be flailing in the back. What is wrong with this man? Anyways, to comment on the story, it is unfortunate that two things. Number one, that the victims, including this woman right here, who honestly rented her home out, is being victimized. Number two, that we have laws that allow people to squat in your home. Down there in Arkansas and all of that, they don't deal with that junk. They don't play that game. That we have laws that allow for people to basically not pay rent and squat in your home, but yet you still have to be financially responsible. And this is why some of the times, even when we talk about Block Club and a Patreon, make sure y'all join the Patreon. Next week we got Stock Club coming up, so I'm gonna announce that shortly. Look, whatever, Anton, carry on. Don't get mad at me. You know the chat is the co-host of this show, so when you say crazy stuff, I'm gonna address it. But anyways, it's unfortunate. But the third thing is, this is why people don't want to rent to low-level people. Y'all always, I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. People get mad because they say that other people are elitist or they racist and all of this stuff. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not intentional. I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not intentional. Maybe it's just because I don't get people that apply for my houses. I don't have any black renters. The ones that I considered, they couldn't even pass they couldn't pass the income to debt ratio. That's why we pulled up their credit report. And I've had a lot of people that I look through in order to figure out whether or not I want to rent to them. Income to debt ratio, out of this world. All of their credit cards was maxed out, and they had a bunch of loans. Some of them was from Dodge. They had some Chargers, probably some Hellcats. That's number one. And number two, they credit always says something with regard to the court when it comes to an eviction. Every single time. And then they say, let me tell you what they say to me. They say, well, I can apply in my son's name, or I can apply in it. No, no, no. I would love to rent to whoever can afford it and whoever is going to pay the rent. Guess what? The only thing that I care about when it comes to renting out my properties is green. The only thing that I care about when it comes to, no, listen, it's not always blacks. Cool. That's nice. I could tell you don't own nothing, and I could tell you ain't never rented it out to nobody. The only thing that I care about when it comes to renting out my properties is green. If you can afford it and if you qualify for it, you get it. But when you don't meet the qualifications, it is not up to me to lower my standards to validate your inability to be able to find adequate housing for your family and do what you're supposed to do. I don't care about color. I don't care about any of that type of stuff. And the one person, I'll tell you, the one person that looked good on paper, like they could qualify. The one person, you know what? Because I always meet with my renters before I rent it out to them. Smelled like trees. Reeked. They whole body reeked of marijuana and trees. Nope. Nope. The answer is no. And I've never, not one time in my life, had a renter miss a payment. And I've never had one renter in my life ever move out from my properties. Because I'm going to treat them like gold. They take care of business. I take care of business. Nope. They said, so you saying 0 black people qualified? That's exactly what I'm saying. 0 people that I've looked through as far as people that were proposing to rent out my properties, 0 of them qualified as far as meeting my standards for what I wanted as a tenant inside of my properties. That's exactly what I said. I don't have to mince my words. I ain't worried about no sponsors. I ain't worried about nobody. I'm going to tell you exactly the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't care about what you think. When we pulled the applications, when we start to figure out the people, and when I actually met one of the people that actually passed the test, reeked of trees. Nope. What's wrong with trees? Nothing. If you can find somebody to rent with you, I don't have to accept you. One of my qualifications is I don't allow for smoking inside of my cribs. Flat out. No smoking. And if you don't like it, then go and get somebody else. Because it affects, see, here's the thing. It not only affects you or my properties, because if you've ever been through a property where people smoked, it's horrible. It's one of the most horrible. It absolutely destroys all of that. That's not housing discrimination. You didn't meet that's not housing discrimination. You didn't meet the qualifications. I didn't get government subsidies to build my properties, which means that I don't have no requirement, no low income housing or any of that type of stuff and all of that. It also affects the neighbors. It also affects my property value. It also affects the people that surround you. If I find somebody that's qualified and they meet the requirements, cool, you can get it. But when you don't qualify, I am not making a concession in order to get you in there to make you feel better. I don't care. Only thing I care about when it comes to my properties is green. And if you want to call it housing discrimination, I don't care what you call it. You can't get in either way. Either way. Good riddance. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. And then last but not least, don't let me get to going on a rant. Last but not least, two separate crimes, hours apart, would-be car thieves, is shot by the victims inside of Chicago. Check it out.
Now at 4, 2 shootings, the apparent innocent fighting back against criminals.
They ended up shooting people trying to either break into their car or steal it altogether. And that fighting back is starting to become a trend. Andrew Ramos is live in Austin. That's the scene of one of those shootings. And Andrew, one of the victims in this case is a retired police officer.
That's right, and we did get a chance to speak to that retired cop who did not want to go on camera, but told us that it was his neighbor who initially alerted him that somebody was trying to break into his car, which led him to come out of his house and confront the man that we would probably agree targeted the wrong car. Police say it all unfolded at about 2:15 this morning in the 300 block of North Mayfield Avenue. That's when the 53-year-old offender was seen trying to break into a vehicle. That vehicle belonged to a 73-year-old retired Chicago police officer. That retired cop approached the man and warned him to leave, but he tells CBS News Chicago that the suspect lunged at him and attempted to take his gun. That's when the retired officer opened fire, shooting the man in the shoulder. 3 hours later, in a separate, unrelated incident on the south side, police say a 47-year-old man was sitting inside his vehicle in the 1600 block of West 82nd Street when he was approached by 4 men who attempted to carjack him. When they sprayed some sort of chemical...
That's cool. I don't want diabetes anyway. I don't want my sugar high. I'm cool. Y'all saying my cookout invitation? I don't want no collard greens that's been cooked inside of the tub. Anybody that cook collard greens inside of a bathtub, I'm good on your invitation anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I'm cool. These new cookouts ain't the same as the old ones anyway, because everybody was smoking. They was smoking weed when they was making the macaroni and cheese anyway. They got greens out of the can. They candy yams ain't right. They ain't even candied. I'm good. I'm good. We going vegetarian anyway in 2025. I don't even want to come to the cookout. They ain't got nothing for me. They ain't got nothing for me. I'm good. Cookouts was bad for our health anyway. That's why grandma got one leg bigger than the other one when she walking down. Every time I go to the grocery store and I see the one that go and get all of the worst things for them, one of their legs look like a goalpost and the other leg is skinny, looking like she skipped leg day on one leg. I don't want to go anyway. I ain't interested in going to no more cookouts. They got shootouts. They ain't even called cookouts no more. They call shootouts.
On the victim, the man who is a valid FOID and concealed carry license holder, shot at the group. A 16-year-old boy was shot in the left leg and suffered a grazed wound to the left arm. The other offenders took off in the victim's Toyota Camry. While both shootings remain under investigation, under Illinois state law, the victim's use of force in these cases.
These new grandmas is only 36 years old anyway. They don't even know how to cook. All the pies that they buy is Patty LaBelle Walmart pies. Get out of here with that nonsense.
For now, appear to be justified.
If you are in fear of your life, if you're in a situation where somebody is committing a felony against you and you suspect that you could really be hurt, if you have a concealed carry license, you have the right to shoot that person, even if you kill the person, because the law.
Soon as you walk, As soon as you get to the cookout, sugar on 390. Got to go to the bathroom 13 times in 1 hour. No, I'm good. I'm straight. I don't even drink Kool-Aid no more. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Everybody on their phone at y'all cookouts anyway. Don't nobody even like music no more. Levite Apparel says, the Bible said, if you bless my people, I will bless you, Anton. I hope your channel excel in growth. But most importantly, aspire to those who made it. Shout out to Levite Apparel. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Brian B.K. Kendrick says, blessings, Anton, and to all of the chasers. Shout out to you. 3D Perspective says, Turkey 2, airport be full of them cancer sticks. They had a whole smoke section up in the Frankfurt, Germany airport. It was crazy. JP says, Durk is done. A person in his crew was an informant. Oh, we don't talk about it on After Hours. Chadford Moore says, 80, you seen the new Jubilee video? Yeah, I seen it with Ben Shapiro. I seen it. You should see it. You can go on there. You would crush it. Yeah, I seen it. I seen Ben Shapiro on there. Be Easy 333. Imagine not paying your rent and your eviction notice is on blast nationwide. Embarrassing, dusty. We need to get these squatter laws in order. Ray says, teacher, Eric D. Teacher, don't forget the homework we had. Yep, that's Eric D. Oh no, I don't want it graded on the curve. Talvish says, good morning, Anton. You motivated me to start my own business. I've been watching you since 2020. Make sure you join the Patreon because we need to help you to understand how to limit your taxes, adjusted gross income. We'll get there. Shout out to Bitcoin Brown says, 80, you done messed up. Blackity Blacks of America about to cancel you for not renting. I don't care. They ain't got no money anyway. How you going to be the biggest consumer group and ain't got no money? All of it is being paid for by Kamala and Biden. Student loan money spent at the mall. Not even on the education. Written to folks who can't afford it like it's pre-2008 mortgage. Yeah, we ain't doing that no more. Jacquel PF says, greetings and blessings to you, my brother in Christ. Thank you for standing on your square against Yada. It's a necessary battle for the glory of God. Shout out to my dog, Jacquel. Eric D is here. Says, just hire a private investigator that will find Tiffany and serve her. Why is this so hard to understand? Not a process server, but a private investigator. Didn't you hear the woman say that she already had a possibly facing foreclosure and she financially unstable at this point and she can't carry the Don't worry about it, Eric. We get there. Chris Cunningham says the chat mad because you got housing standards. Don't be a dusty then. Peace with mistreat. Oh, they must be new. They don't know what we do over here. I used to work as an off-site leasing agent, and it is not the housing discrimination. Based on the Fair Housing Act, you are following the guidelines of the Fair Housing Act. I'm with you on. Thank you. They always want to claim discrimination. That's all right, Carrie. Carrie, you coming on the show tonight? Carrie is a requirement to come on the show tonight on After Hours. We streaming tonight. I'm not listening to Carrie right now because she's going to be on my head top, justifiably. Boomer Sooner says it pays for itself. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Y'all the type of people to pay y'all lease on time and then crash the car and turn it into the leasing company and say it's not my fault. I know who y'all are. Let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Carrie got jokes. All right, that's all right. I'm gonna have to hear it all tonight, and that's cool. I take my L. Kamala Harris did a CNN Townhall the other day. Y'all hit a like for the algorithm. It's about to get ugly. Kamala Harris did a CNN Townhall the other day, and it was good. If y'all didn't watch it, Kamala Harris is the best person in the world from a content creator's perspective. Better than Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Better than reacting to Umar Johnson. Better than Anton versus Yada on Hardly Initiated. Better than Pop the Balloon. When she does an interview or she does a town hall or she does something, anything other than a rally where she got a pre-scripted thing, it is like gold. SNL type gold. Recently, she was asked a question from Anderson Cooper and from this young man about her immigration policy. And the more that she talk and the closer we get to this election, the worse she look. Hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to it. I don't want to get to that part. I want to get to the young man because he actually had a really good question.
To me, Jackson Weiss is a student at Drexel University from Flourtown, Pennsylvania, registered Republican, says he's leaning toward voting for you, but has yet to make up a final decision. Jackson.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be.
Don't listen to Carrie, y'all. Listen to what they described Anderson as, all right? Or maybe his name wasn't Anderson. I know he go to Drexel. Let me get this young man's name. I got to make sure that I get it right.
These are still problems that we need to fix.
I want you to meet Jackson Weiss. He's a student.
So Jackson Weiss. Jackson here. Let me tell you something. Jackson is a student registered as a Republican. This is what he was described as. Student registered as a Republican, largely considering voting for Kamala Harris. Somebody in the chat, because again, the chat is my co-host. Y'all in the chat, y'all tell me, do y'all think that Jackson, looking at Jackson, because we like the stereotype over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Yes, we are biased. We stereotype. We try to figure out and we judge people before we even get a chance to hear them speak. For y'all in the chat, y'all tell me, do you think that Jackson is in any way, shape, or form leaning towards voting towards Kamala Harris prior to asking this question? Do you think that this town hall, Jackson here, do you think that this town hall and Jackson, Jackson Weiss, was at any point ever considering voting for Kamala Harris? Just a question. Ain't no way in hell Jackson was ever considering voting for Kamala Harris. Jackson was raised by his parents to be a hardcore conservative Republican. I can tell a hardcore conservative Republican when I see one. And I'm not against it. But what I'm saying is, from his smirk on his face from the very beginning, let me tell you something. Jackson believes in pickup trucks, jacked up, off-roading. Okay? He's probably studying something to become a finance bro. Who knows? You know? Jackson absolutely went to a great school, probably somewhere in the suburbs. And he's educated. And he knows exactly what he wants. And he has the haircut to show it. He has the white shirt and the haircut to show it. Right? He likes girls. He probably is on a wrestling team. Maybe lacrosse. Might even have played a little bit of soccer, ran some track. That's who Jackson is. In another lifetime, Jackson would have been probably on the NFL team. That is who Jackson is. Jackson likes trucks, you know. He probably likes going to the apple orchard when the fall hits. And he wears a flannel in the wintertime. So let's hear what Jackson had to say.
For you, but has yet to make up a final decision. Jackson.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, too, Vice President Harris.
Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
And his name is Jackson with an X. Jackson asked 4 questions in one. I told you he was smart. I'm explaining your white life. I know who they are. I know exactly. That's where I raised my daughter around. That's why my daughter wanted a Bronco. She wanted the Raptor with the lift kit. Cause she lives that same lifestyle. They all walk around with Crocs on half the time. Yes, I know exactly who y'all are. He has 4 questions in one. Let's hear him again for the people in the back so you can hear her answer. Jackson with an X. Tell us again what your questions are.
And subsidies will you
Jackson.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here too, Vice President Harris.
Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely?
How will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into society safely? Meaning that we got killers out here that's unvetted at the border.
What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with?
What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? Because we see what's going on in New York for them getting free money housing, EBT cards, and now they're starting to buy homes.
And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual?
And how long is it going to last?
Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
And why we got to pay for it? When you going to get some people over here that's actually going through the border the right way? How much money we going to keep giving them and for how long? And why we got to pay for it? That's his question. From a C student all the way down to a C student, that's his question. And then he gave her the stare of death, the Darth Vader stare. And look at her looking at Jackson like, you seem like a plant.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the 2 choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
We know all of this already. We've seen every single rally, every single interview. We know you prosecuted transnational organizations and you wanted to stop the flow of fentanyl and gangs from coming over into the United States of America. We know that you're going to say, and Donald Trump killed the border bill in 2023, 2024. We already know this. The question, ma'am, is vetting these people, how much money they going to continue to get and why we got to pay for it.
In the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country. And as my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on
a problem rather than fix it, okay?
Problem instead of fix the problem.
Got it.
You may know there were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill. That would have put...
We already seen that debunked.
1,500 more border agents at the border. Those
Brett Bauer made sure that he went ahead and killed this argument.
Agents are overwhelmed. They need the support. They need the backup. It would have allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and people around the country what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans.
None of this answers the question, by the way, but let's continue.
It would have put resources into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources to prosecute, to investigate and prosecute transnational criminals.
Transnational criminals organizations and gangs and stop the flow of fentanyl.
Organizations. It would have done a lot of good. Donald Trump got wind of the bill and told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Yep.
We have to have a secure border and we have to have a comprehensive pathway for citizenship. And that includes requiring people, hardworking people, to earn citizenship and do it in a comprehensive, humane, and orderly manner.
Let me ask.
Now, I was surprised that Anderson Cooper actually pressed back on her because she did not answer the question. But let's get there.
About that, I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed, that was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings.
Yep.
Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over.
But didn't stop them from flying over. Let's continue.
Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
So you took executive action after removing the executive action and 94 different items that was set in place by Donald Trump in order to make sure that we stem the flow of migrants into this country that was working. You killed those, but yet you say that you want Donald Trump prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a solution. It sounds like they're talking about themselves versus talking about Donald Trump. And Anderson Cooper hit it right on the nail. He followed up and he actually supported the young guy because they don't let the audience members actually follow up with additional questions to, substantiate the fact that you never answered the original one. And Anderson Cooper, I couldn't believe that he pressed her. He said, listen, so you couldn't do both? So y'all stop the flow of migrants into this country after you say that he killed the bill that also included a bunch of bloated policies that had nothing to do with supporting our border, but funding proxy wars. And why couldn't you do both? How come you couldn't put executive action into place while at the same time continuing to fight for a long-term solution from Congress?
Congress has the authority and the purse. I hate to use DC terms, but literally they write the checks. Part of the issue is in order to really fix the problem at the border. I was just at the border recently talking with border agents. You know what they talk about?
They talked about the fact that they all endorsed Donald Trump for president of the United States of America. I know that for a fact.
Yes, they are overwhelmed. They're working around the clock. And the other thing that they talked to me about, we need more judges down there to deal with asylum claims. We need more personnel down there to deal with processing. But Anderson, and that's where Congress kicks in terms of dedicating the resources to actually fixing the problem. We have dealt with it such that, to your point, we now, as of today, as of our visit.
Somebody said, how about you fact check Trump because his tariff plan is not it? It's absolutely it. And I did a whole show. Not half of a show like we doing with Kamala Harris. I did a whole show where we broke down every single thing that he said about the tariff when he did his interview with Bloomberg. We dedicated 2.5 hours to fact checking and deep diving into his tariff plan as well as immigration and everything else. And I actually called people that was a part of the steel industry to find out exactly how the steel industry was faring under Kamala Harris and the Biden administration. So just tell me that you didn't attend that show and you're not familiar with it. Because again, last week, I think it was Friday, you can go back and watch it. It's available for you to go on Restream. We did a whole show dedicated to breaking down his tariff plan. You're more than welcome to go watch it, and we have clips as a result of it. Have a nice night.
Have lower undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration than Trump when he left office.
That's true.
But we need a permanent solution, and that requires bipartisan work.
Do you wish you'd done those executive orders in 2022, 2023?
I think we did the right thing, but the best thing that can happen for the American people is that we have.
She don't want to give Trump no credit.
Bipartisan work happening, and I pledge to you that I will work across the aisle to fix this long-standing problem. I think the American people are demanding it on both sides of the aisle, and it's time we actually put the partisan approach to this aside. We know what can work.
Well, let's talk about this compromise bill that you want to pass if you're elected. You said that's going to be a priority. It includes $650 million in funding for the border wall. That's something Republicans wanted. That was part of the compromise.
Yep.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project.
Ooh. And I can't believe that Anderson Cooper was actually pressing her. Somebody said it in the chat. They said CNN President Democrat is wild. I think it was Geo Black. Yeah, this is insane to see. But this just tells me that they don't even believe in her. They may believe in a Democratic president, but they don't believe in her. And we're going to go into Van Jones and all of them and what their reaction is. The people that know, even the Democrats, even these pundits, these political pundits who are supposed to be swayed or who's supposed to be swayed and slanted more towards Democrats, they don't believe in her. It's some Republicans that I don't like. They don't believe in her. It's people that's on both sides of the aisle that was like, listen, I'm not necessarily for Republicans, but I don't believe in Kamala Harris. Imagine if she had been running at the same amount of time that Biden had been running prior to them pushing him out. This would be an absolute disaster. They would be pushing her out also. Yes, they would.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came for time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
I don't know how this is not so clear to you guys. And I know it's clear to the people in this chat because we got a lot of intelligent people. We gonna have some people that's just, they gonna be contrarians, and it doesn't mean that they're not intelligent. It means that they're doing it just to get attention. And so we for that. And that's why we let people do what they do, because we want them. Eventually you got to let the problem child be around the children that are doing the productive things, and then hopefully this is the plan. You let the good seeds rub off on the bad seeds. Unless the bad seeds get too disrespectful, then you got to remove them because you don't want one bad apple to ruin a whole bunch. But my point is that I know that the people here are so intelligent and that's watching this that they know. You know this woman ain't it. You know she ain't got a leg to stand on, that it's impossible. And honestly, I think that she makes women look bad. I think that she makes women look bad because it shows you that in order to get to the top, you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be great. The only thing you got to do is you got to rub the right shoulders, maybe even get into the bedrooms of the right people, and continue to say the right things and do the right things around the right people. And then you can get there, but it doesn't mean that you was intelligent enough to actually do it on your own merits. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to continue on with the show. Yep. I'm going to read some of the super chats and we're going to get there. Ray says immigration costs $400 billion in 2024 alone. We don't even know what the true cost of it is, to be honest with you, because we can't gauge how much in police resources that we use. We can't gauge how much of taxpayer dollars it took in order to educate these people. We can't gauge the infrastructure costs. We can't gauge how much it cost you in accidents from people that didn't have driver's license or shouldn't have been driving on American roads. We can't gauge. We can only look at the actual cost that they put in order to justify what they're doing. We can't really gauge what the true cost is of a human life. We don't really know. It's bad. Shout out to Darius. First six-figure year with zero If y'all not a part of the bag chasers, then y'all missing. I can't thank you enough, big dog. Bag chasers stay winning. PS, smack that. Look at Darius. How many people y'all know actually got real life people that are running up the bag, getting rid of their debt, and now they starting to build their assets? Rashawn Irving says Jackson was definitely planted there. I don't know how Jackson got there. Jackson says, give me a hell no. Rep for life. Turtle says he killed the Bills. She's so fake. Miss Crow T Shetty. Shout out to Miss Crow T Shetty for the super sticker. Beans and greens. Just don't make them in the bathtub. Says, morning AD. I have not heard a word from the squad in support of Kamala. Have you? Well, guess what? They still gonna support her. They still gonna support her. You gotta say her statement first and ask your question. Shout out to Forsaken Archives. I appreciate you. PJ says, people keep forgetting that they literally sued Texas to keep the borders open. Yep. American virus is freedom says the laws on immigration are already on the books. When the government chooses what laws to enforce, there are no laws that matter. The Border Patrol wants to be able to enforce those laws. BPD equal Trump. Shout out to you. Chris Cunningham in the building says she sounds like a bitter baby mama. She's a step baby mama. Step crash dummy. People care more about Trump's campaign than about Cam's. At what time will they realize this Delulu? GTA Disciple says, if Trump had the power to stop anything she was trying to do, then why the hell would people vote for you? Trump wasn't in office to do anything. Performance Chip says she said it's a medieval vanity project. Yep. J-Dub says, so is she calling Obama stupid for building a wall? Nope. Jasmine says, how have the new migrants earned it? She's a joke. 400 billion in total so far. Correction, says Ray. Shout out to Ray. Presidential says, it's really showing that Kim never earned any of the prior positions that she held. I agree. Molly, what up, Molly, with the super sticker? Shout out to my girl, Molly. Turtle is in the building, says, y'all going to Queen Bee's concert? J-Dubs says, rumor has it Jackson is still waiting for a response. I'm still waiting for a response. Brown Ocean says she's embarrassing. Good Lord. Mr. Wombat, that's a heck of a name. Shout out to Mr. Wombat says, can you imagine her bringing her word salad to the important meetings with other world leaders? Yikes. Regardless, just early voted here in GA and Orange County for the Orange Man. Keep up the great work. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Wombat. CL Jacob says, Scamala's neck is looking like Thanos. Yes, have y'all seen that? I don't like to criticize people's appearance too often, but her neck is getting more and more wrinkled. I don't think that Kamala Harris actually wants to win anymore. I get there. AD, I'm paying off all of my debt. I came a long way. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description. And get y'all tickets to come and kick it with me in person. Next week, I'll be in Atlanta. Discount code Anton. Let's rock it. Just cleared all of my debt. And moving towards my $200,000 mark and starting my... Jesus, y'all just killing it out here. Shout out to the chasers. Miss Thomas in the building says, Obama malfunction machine losing oil. Richie Rich in the building says, Anton, I'm headed to go vote now. And Blue Territory with my red Trump hat on and my mace with me. Pray for me, big dog. I got you. God bless him. P. Shank in the building says, Anton, if Trump has the power now to influence Congress, what does that say about Kamala? She weak. And we all know it's going to be a wave of red that's at the polls. Make sure y'all vote. Make sure y'all get involved. And make sure y'all also informed on what's happening on a local level. But that's not it. That wasn't the only thing that highlighted or stuck out for me when it came to this town hall. In addition to that, a man asked a question about her flip-flopping on issues. Let's get to it.
I want you to meet Rob McPherson. He's the chief marketing officer for a local organization. He's registered Republican from Media, Pennsylvania, who told us he's leaning towards voting for you, but has concerns about what he calls shifts in your policy.
They say he a Republican too. Did CNN put all plants in there? Hold on, let me see something.
Who is the chief marketing officer for a local organization. He's registered Republican from Media, Pennsylvania.
He's the chief marketing officer for a local organization, and he's a Republican in Pennsylvania, which is a swing state. Yeah. She had no chance in this town hall.
Who told us he's leaning towards voting for you, but has concerns about what he calls shifts in your policy positions. Rob?
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Vice President Harris. So welcome to Delco.
Thank you.
Here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic.
Yeah.
And much of what we have seen much of what you've been saying with regard to issues like law and order and fracking
Look at
reflect
Jackson
a
still in the background, like she never answered the question, bro.
more centrist view than what people are used to hearing from Kamala Harris, leaving some voters to wonder about the authenticity of your current, more moderate positions. Can you talk a little bit about how your positions have shifted and why?
Sure, and thank you.
So the question is, why do you keep flip-flopping from the things that you previously said in order to try to endear yourself to the American public and the voters?
So first of all, on fracking, I've been very clear. We kind of dispensed with this in 2020. I am not going to ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, as vice president, I cast the tie-breaking vote that now has opened up.
Y'all got to remember what the questions are, because she can get so caught up in word salad that it'll throw you off and it'll make you think, yeah, she did answer the question. No, you just forgot what she was saying because she's been talking so long about things that's irrelevant. He led off by saying, listen, over here in Delco, and that's exactly what he said. And I'm going to come back to 109 just so she can answer the question. He asked the question and he said, listen, here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic. That's what he prefaced it with. And so his question is kind of loaded because he's trying to get her to justify why she's flip-flopping, not what she's saying that she's standing on today. Why are you changing your position? The why matters, not what you say, but why you said it. Why did you say it then? And what is causing you to change your answer now? Again, he says, here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic. He's looking for context, not what your policies are. We already know where you stand as far as all of the rhetoric and all of the word salad and all of the stuff that you're saying at the rallies. He's trying to understand why you say what you say when you said it. Because they pride themselves on being what?
For you, but his concerns about what he...
President Harris. So welcome to Delco.
Thank you.
Here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic.
Yeah.
That's why he said it. That's why he said it. That's why we have to put our listening ears on, okay? That's what they used to tell us in elementary school. Put your listening ears on, all right?
In a clean energy economy and a clean energy future has not changed. But frankly, I now have the experience and perspective of having been vice president for almost 4 years. I've traveled the country. I know that we can invest in a clean energy economy and still not ban fracking and still work toward what we need to do to create more jobs and create U.S.-based jobs in a way that will be globally competitive. On the issue of law and order, as you mentioned, I think there's just a whole lot of misinformation, to be honest with you. I have personally prosecuted
transnational gangs.
Very serious crime. It's how I started my career.
Oh,
I spent most of my career as a
gangs.
prosecutor, not in Washington, D.C. And as my first priority had and remains as a first priority to me, the safety of the American people. So that has not changed. And sadly, I think that there's a bit of misinformation, if not more than a bit. But I'm glad that you raised the subject so that I can address it. But just if you don't mind, just let me.
She loves to talk a long time about nothing because what it does is it distracts the people from the original question. Why did you do it? And why do you flip-flop so much depending on who it is that you're standing in front of now that you're in Pennsylvania, where it's a huge fracking town, all of a sudden you're not against fracking.
Let me just finish. Because I think the spirit of your question is really important, and I'm glad you raised it. Our country deserves to have a president of the United States who is not afraid of good ideas and does not stand on pride. If a perspective needs to be informed by different points of view to build consensus and to have a common sense approach. I
don't even know what she's saying right now.
Shy away from good ideas. And I'm not going to feel the need to have pride associate with the position that I've taken when the important thing is to build consensus to fix problems. I believe in fixing problems. I love fixing problems.
The words, listen. The word salad is out of control. She wastes so much time talking about stuff that ain't relevant. And she's starting to do the Umar Johnson, honest to God, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. She is starting to do the Umar Johnson, which is basically say it multiple different times in different ways, and thinking that we don't know what you're trying to do. You're trying to waste time because you don't want to answer the question.
And so I pledge to you to be a president who not only works for all Americans, but works on getting stuff done. And that means compromise. And it doesn't mean compromising your values or your principles, but it does mean working to get stuff done. And I pledge to you I will do that.
Just to be clear, though, what he's referring to, and you point out to when you're running.
Anderson was on her head top. She must have did something to a relative of his or something like that, because Anderson wasn't playing no games.
For vice president in 2020, you were not talking about banning fracking, but
No, Anderson, I pledged that I would not ban fracking.
right, I know you said you would not ban fracking.
Correct.
You know, you had said in the 2019 town hall, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. In 2017, you talked about Medicare for all. You talked about 2019, you raised a hand in debate about if border crossings should be decriminalized. Are all of those issues, which those are not your positions now, are all those issues that you're saying through consensus and getting stuff done you have evolved on?
Well, no, let's take, for example, the issue of Medicare.
Usually when you answer a question, you say yes or no. And then you add the context. And I taught Yada that on Hardly Initiated the hard way. You don't word sound. That's why I kept telling him. I said, listen, man, you sound just like Kamala Harris up here. You answer the question and then you add the context. You add the nuance. Yes, I believe that. But let me tell you why. There's context that needs to be added. No, I don't support that. But let me tell you why. You answer the question as a man. Ladies, you can learn from this too. As a man, you answer the question and then you add the context. You don't word salad your way through. And every time you do that in front of me, I'm gonna call you out on it.
Done. You have
Who my
evolved.
next opponent? Y'all haven't tried to figure out who my next victim is at The Price is Right? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Done.
Well, no, let's take, for example, the issue of Medicare. My point has always been that access to health care should not just be a privilege of those who can afford it. It should be a right for all people. So that is why I have worked on doing what we have done to, one, allow Medicare to negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication. We've achieved that in terms of capping the cost of insulin.
I don't know what the hell is happening with her neck.
To prescription medication. We've achieved that in.
I don't know what the heck is wrong with her neck. That's not what her neck looked like even a year ago. It's almost like this debate is taking a toll on her. Honest to God, it's crazy.
In terms of capping the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, capping the cost of annual prescriptions at $2,000 a year for seniors. But my plan moving forward, based on that very principle that I've always had, is as president to have that cap be for everyone and not just for our seniors. The work that I have done that has been about recognizing the importance of dealing with border security, that has never changed.
What did I tell y'all to look for in a woman in order to really understand the life that she's lived, the stress that she's under, or even how old she is? Because you can be fooled by makeup. You can be fooled by a lot of different things. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. All right. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. It's going to tell the whole story. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. All right. A lot of guys that get caught up focusing on if she got a bad body, or, if she wearing makeup or not. Neck, elbows, and then to a lesser extent, hands. The hands is the final form. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. Neck, elbows, knees, ankles. Tell the whole story. And then the hands that'll tell you the hands.
Said I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
Oh,
that I did for years before I ever ran in 2019.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration.
Hey, somebody put moderators. We got a lot of moderators in the chat today. Osriel, DJ Ace, Yakar, Jordan. Somebody put in the vaults on timeout. Don't ban them. Just put him on timeout. Put Innovaults on timeout. He want to be a disruptor of the class. We're going to go ahead and teach him a lesson. On Fridays, we don't play no games. We know y'all a little anxious. You didn't get after hours last night. Somebody put Innovaults on timeout. Somebody put Innovaults on timeout for an extended period of time for the rest of the show.
There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not? And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties for illegal crossings.
And just finally on fracking, you said you're clear you would not ban it as president.
No, I would not ban it as president.
Right, I know you're clear on that. Do you think it is bad for the environment?
That's because she's in Pennsylvania.
Though?
I think that we have proven that we can invest in a clean energy economy. We can mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. We can work on and sustaining what we need to do to protect this beautiful earth of ours and not ban fracking.
Well, that is her position. So y'all tell me whether or not she's a flip-flopper or anything like that. Y'all tell me, and then we're going to go from there. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next part of the show. LaShawn says, I work as a contractor at USCIS, which is under DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. People need to vote against her or it's going to quadruple. Ooh. Thank you for the insight. Turtle says, AD look up Cam's twin, Jar Jar. Jesus Christ. No, she's a good-looking woman. She just looks stressed out is what I'm saying. She went on Janet on Why Did I Get Married? Jesus. So Cam prosecutes transnational gangs but supports transgender prison gangs. Only y'all will point that out. Her family needs you to come to, hey family, we need you to come to Tennessee. Should we be in Tennessee? What part? Now, I ain't going to Memphis. I'll come to Nashville. We can do a show in Nashville, but I don't know about Memphis. DJ A says, I don't think she wants to win either. She just wants to succeed. She's going to see it through. Yeah, I don't think she want this. Honest to God, I don't think she want it. But we'll talk about it on the next portion of the show. Schizo says, Anton, right here is always covered. Yeah, I can't substantiate that. I've talked to a few people who said they weren't voting, and they usually say their vote doesn't matter because of the electoral vote. Can you do a video on how electoral vote works? It might change some minds. Listen, I can do a video on it, but do y'all realize that there's more on the ballot than just the national election? Is anybody hearing me? Is anybody understanding that your judges, your millages, the regents that go to for your major colleges, the governors at those major colleges, trustees, senators, congress members, do y'all realize that more than just, because I can do the electoral college and I can break that down. But do y'all realize that there's more on the ballot than just who's in the national election, who's running for president and vice president of the United States of America? It's a lot of proposals, a lot of propositions, a lot of millages. It's probably every single judge that's in your county is going to be up for election. Sheriffs is on there, correct, Deneen Grant. You are absolutely right. Why wouldn't you want to determine what's going to happen in your city? And those judges, a lot of times I know here in Michigan, those judges have 6-year terms sometimes. It's crazy. Y'all need to get involved. Shout out to Darius Davenport. Get involved. Magnetar17 says, debate Philip Scott on reparations. I like Philip Scott. We can talk about reparations. Whatever debate y'all want to see, y'all let me know. I'm with it, whatever. Spread Wealth says, it's like when Mace Windu turned the lightning back on the Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars Episode 3. She's pruning. Get her out of the light. I know that job got to be, it's got to be a headache. Her neck looks like uncooked turkey. Jesus Christ. She's aging bad. She's going to look like Beetlejuice if she wins. Hopefully not the Lori Lightfoot type. Maurice says she doesn't even should be up there, or she shouldn't even be up there as a person running for president. She has skipped the process. She not ready. Jasmine Swan says the Hitler rhetoric is also ridiculous. Yeah, I've seen that too. All Jews feared and hated Hitler. All blacks don't fear and hate Trump. We love Trump. My girl Messi. Shout out to Messi in the building. I appreciate you. Grandma said what up. Trini Life says, what up with the super sticker also? Thank you, Trini Life. Eddie B says, Anton, is this individual who's running for president not smart, or does she think we're not smart, meaning black Americans at this point, we're not very smart if we're still considering her? Well, y'all elected Brandon Johnson and then Lori Lightfoot in Chicago before him. Eric Adams, Karen Bass, Mike Johnson over in Denver. I think that it's a valid thing for them to think that we're not smart. And if you look at what's happening on social media, sometimes they're right. We need to stop putting so much pressure on Cam Killer. They got her neck looking rougher than guys. Equilibrium says, just made it back to the Shy from the border and voted red yesterday. AD folks are just blind out here and have no stake in this real world. Man, I feel you in this real world game. I agree with you. Shout out to you and highlights to you for going to the border. Let's move over into the next part of the show. So there was some reactions from CNN, from people on the panel of CNN. There was some reactions, including Van Jones, and I want to get two different reactions. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
There were flashes of the Kamala that I know, who is really a true public servant. She really does work for real people. And in the back of her mind, she is trying to figure out, how do I solve the problem? She sometimes skips, even in person, she'll sometimes skip the human part and get to the problem-solving part. But there were flashes of it. And I think the question, if you're at home trying to figure this out, you can ask, well, could she have done this? Could she have done this better? Your job isn't to do town halls. Your job is to fight for people. Does she seem like somebody who is going to take seriously the problems of ordinary people and try to get an answer?
And the answer is no. And the answer is no. Is Van Jones, we know Van Jones from crying a lot. We know Van Jones from crying a lot. Is he listening to what he say before he say it? Is he listening to what he's saying before he's saying? Trump told a story about Van when he was in office. Everybody's turned on Trump. Laura Trump actually talked about that on the Breakfast Club. I told y'all about that, and I highlighted that whole conversation, not the whole thing, but a lot of that conversation yesterday in the premiere, right? When I had to give y'all that show and all of that. Van, listen, he keep telling us she showed flashes of the Kamala Harris that I know. What does that even mean? Her job is not to do town halls. Her job is to fix problems. So what has she fixed? We see what's happening at the border, bro. Nobody is crazy. Nobody is look, I know a lot of people that think that they solving a problem, but they actually making it exponentially worse. I know a lot of people, listen, you got, and I hate to use y'all as an example, but y'all are the lowest hanging fruit for me to use as an example. So we're going to go there. I see Hebrew Israelites on the corners in different cities that I go to, Miami, Detroit, and they have their dashikis on, and they have their shingles at the bottom of their shirts and stuff like that. They're like their lampshade bottom things that grandma used to have in her household. And they have their smoke, and they keep their dusty, they be having dusty kids and stuff like that. That's on the side of the road. They be cold. Their hairs be beaded up. And they think that they're actually doing the right thing. They believe in their hearts. Yes, they have their WWE belts on. They believe in their hearts that they're doing the right thing. They believe in themselves. They think that being out here harassing people, keeping them from going to their jobs. And then I seen one guy. I say, you know what? That's that same guy that's out there with them lampshades on and his WWE belt. Let me see what he get into. He's telling them how they need to get their life together. And I could not be any more clear. Had to be a 1991 Ford Escort, and it was polluting the air. It was polluting the air. And I said, Jesus, they stand in the parks and they harass good joggers, people that are trying to keep their health up. And they believe in their hearts that they're doing the right thing by standing on a corner with a Bible that they don't understand, with their kids and their wives cold, going to go with the same shirts on that they purchased from the white man that they're preaching against, preventing people from going to work and harassing people in the park. And they didn't even brush their hair or their teeth before they got out there, right? And they believe that they're working on behalf of the people. So if your belief is misguided, then that means that you become a demon. If your belief is misguided, Hitler believed in what he really stood for. That's why he did the things that he did. George W. believed the things that he stood for. That's why he did the things that he did. Now, it doesn't matter the level of atrocity that it afflicts the American people on, but just because you believe it doesn't mean that it's right. Okay? That's what turns you into a demon. Is that you believe so fervently in your cause, even though you are wrong, that you become demonic and deranged in your thinking, and then you start seeing everybody else as the enemy, which is why you're on the corner harassing good folk that are going to work every day.
And I think she passed that test. I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary. But when she's talking about trying to get you a house, I believe her. When she starts, like, I'm trying to get you to help for your mama who's sick, I believe her.
Yeah.
When she's talking about, I'm going to do what I can to bring prices down, I may not agree with those tools, but I believe she's going to try to apply them. And so I believe this is somebody who actually cares about people. And I think that she passed that test tonight. So,
How did she pass it? That town hall was a disaster, and she didn't care about people.
on how she did it and some of that stuff got on my nerves. But I believe that she is going to
But you
fight for the
described
American
it as
people.
flashes. But then
Yeah,
your
yeah,
follow-up
yeah.
seemed like a much more of a
but I'm
brighter
saying,
endorsement.
Yeah. But I'm saying that there were flashes of the person I didn't get a chance to say because I got interrupted. There were flashes of the person that I know. There are flashes of the person that I know that I've seen as a district attorney at the grassroots level in San Francisco, fighting for regular people, giving young people an opportunity. So one of those young people, by the way, is going to Congress. I know this woman.
And let
there are
me
flashes of
also say, because I see we got some shout out to my Hebrew Israelites. You know, I'm gonna say what I feel, what I mean. See, the one thing about me is that you can't say that I'm fake, because I'm gonna say what I really mean, regardless of how people feel. But let me say this: don't get offended if you a Hebrew Israelite and you not one of the ones that is standing on the corners with lampshades on. All right, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means that you're misguided. Right? And the examples that you guys are putting out to the general public are horrible. It doesn't mean that all of y'all are bad. It don't mean that all of y'all kids is dusty. I understand that there's some that's doing really well, but your belief is your belief. But when it starts to be imposed on other people, unwarranted on street corners, it becomes a problem. And it's the same thing with Christians. I criticize the black church and Christians, even though I identify as a Christian, because the representation of what Christian is wrong from so many different people like Jamal Bryant that are letting Kamala Harris, after she says some of the egregious things that she says and lives her life the same way, is wrong. It's wrong. And so I call out everybody. I call out people within my own life, my own family. I have my own brothers, and my own mom called in and I said, I disagree with you on a lot of issues. I disagree with you. I don't agree with everything that everybody says. I don't agree with everything that Trump does. But the overwhelming majority of what he does is what's best for America when you consider the two candidates. I don't agree with every single thing that everybody that's on my panel say. But it doesn't mean that they're not a good person or they're not human. But the examples that we have rolling out to disrespect and also diminish the word of God is ultimately what we see. And so that's the thing that we have to address. It's just the facts. Sometimes we got some people that make us look bad. It's just the facts. And sometimes you're going to agree with me and sometimes you're going to disagree with me. But as long as you're not overly disrespectful, I think that everybody can have a voice. And that's what makes for a great conversation, is that we don't live in an echo chamber.
That. And then some other stuff, it got lost in the sauce.
I think Republicans would take another hour of Kamala Harris. We'd just press play, let her keep going. We'd pay for another hour to let her keep not answering the questions. I think Anderson's asking her, well, why haven't you done it? You've been there for 4 years. Why haven't you done any of this? And the word salad answer she gave to that was just mind-boggling. I mean, it's blown up the internet, her answer to that question. I think the things that are troubling for people were her responses to, Van said about what's she going to do to reduce costs when they asked her at the beginning. We're hurting economically. She said, I'm going to prosecute corporations.
Yeah, that's
right. That's not going to lower costs. How are you going to make things better for me? I'm going to prosecute people. Trump bad is not a message that's going to get her elected. Trump bad message. I disagree with you, Alyssa. There. I don't think it's going to happen.
You're referring to the
whole,
kept bringing up the
about,
Hitler and Atlantic
you have to bring something else. Say, was she for a wall or was she against a wall? I couldn't tell from her answer. Right? Anderson kept asking her, well, listen. You laughed at the wall, but now it's in your plan. Are you for it or against it? There was so much mishmash in there. I don't know what was going on. I think it's very generous to say that she showed up, right? I think the key, if she loses here in this race, people are going to look back and her team is going to say, we should have been doing this from the very get-go because reps make you better, right? And the more you do this, the better you get. She's still not at it. We're 13 days out from an election, and everyone's hoping she's going to get better. The Wall Street Journal just came out with a poll while this was going on. She's losing altitude rapidly. Rapidly.
If you believe that, Paul.
If you believe that. So it's funny because I don't care about polls, but I know that people like Van Jones and Democrats often at times cite polls when it's in their favor. I don't care about polls. You've never seen me ever reference a poll to justify whether or not a candidate is going to win or going to lose, because I'm on the streets and I actually get to talk to people in real life and I get to gauge what the sentiment of the people is and if this is something that's going to work out in their favor. And Van Jones and a lot of Democrats are in a very difficult position. I believe that Trump is going to get close to 100 million votes. I do. I think he's going to win the popular vote. I think he's going to win the swing states. I don't think there's going to be a swing state that swings in her favor. I think y'all are about to have actually, it's going to be beneficial for y'all because us Republicans, we're bringing y'all along kicking and screaming. She was a disaster on this stage for the town hall. Now you have, as my dog Fa Brown says, they're lowering the bar for her in order to help her jump over, just like they do every single diversity, equity, and inclusion position. And I believe that it is going to be a wash. We are 100%. If it's anything, see, they wasn't counting on people like me to have the conversations that I'm having over and over. I've been gearing up for this. I've been talking about these issues and what's happening on our political landscape for anybody that's been here for an extended period of time for the last 2.5 years straight. My first ever report on Kamala Harris was in 2021 when it was reports coming out of the White House that said that she was difficult to work with and that people around her in her own cabinet was quitting her team and that Biden didn't even like her. There were reports that were coming out of the White House, and then I started covering the immigration crisis. And I said, wait a minute, who's in charge of this? And then I seen the video come out of Biden announce that Kamala Harris was in charge of what's happening at the border and to solve for the problems. And, I've been watching and I've been paying attention to her for a long time. I've deep dived into her career as a prosecutor. I looked at how she came up. I looked at all of her previous debates. I started evaluating everything that she had going on. I've been paying attention to her for a long time. And I predicted that she was going to be the one that they use in order to push Biden out of the White House because he was too old, and that she would be the one that would be running for president of the United States of America. I said one of two scenarios was going to happen. Either they were going to push Biden out, or he was going to at some point retire so that she can then actually become president of the United States of America and then would run as the incumbent. I predicted that one of the two things was going to happen. And boy, I'm telling you, look at Apple giving me all of my flowers. I've been watching her for a long time. She has been incompetent for a long time. And then when the story came out about the whole election interference thing, I said, yeah, we can't do this. I had to make it my mission to make sure that we understand exactly who we were dealing with, because a lot of times we vote based off of identity politics and gender politics, but we don't vote on the person that's going to be best for the United States of America. We don't. Anyways, that's Van Jones and his thoughts on what's going on with Cam. Let me read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. All right, Captain Skip, Mark's heck of a name, says Kamala may not ban fracking. However, that does not mean that her 3-letter agencies will not regulate the heck out of it out of existence. That's true. That is a very great point. I'm with that. DoorDash driver mama. What up, DoorDash driver mama? Says, what up, though? Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you, love. Emma, shout out to Emma Jacob, said, hi to both you and Rita. Enjoy y'all time. Time Dog is in work mode. Work. Andre Andrews says she can't be the one that's going to try and get answers when she won't answer anything. Man, let me tell y'all something. At this point, people that are still informed and voting for Kamala Harris, they doing it out of spite. They just don't want to be wrong. Magnetar17 says, not that I'm promoting it, but be sure to pick up the latest album of Crying in the Car Crying in the Car by Van Jones. DoorDash Mama says, Kamala wants to win but doesn't want the job. I agree. I don't think she want to win. Much like the women who want the wedding but not the duties of a DoorDash Mama is killing it. Mojo Media says, how will we ever become more than 13% of the population if we keep wanting to delete our babies? I don't effing get it. Ladies should be ashamed. You know how I feel about that. Mark the Guardian says, Jones is the black bootleg beta male last boss. Van Jones ain't never been a last boss or nothing. Oh boy, his voice is starting to crack. Here come the tears. Is Van Jones crying that much to where we all look at him as a crier? Keep doing the Lord's work, says God's will. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Executive Suite MLE in the building says, the sad part is most of our women who are voting for Cam is because she ultimately legitimizes the women's degeneracy, failing upward. Chase Barnes says, hey, DJ Slimmy, cue that Anton hit 45-47. 45-47. Yeah, we love Trump over here in these parts, all right? All right, y'all, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. Let's deep dive from a completely different front. I want to spend 10 minutes on this. They're saying that Elon Musk has the ear of Vladimir Putin. Check it out.
Time, Elon Musk adding another $26 billion to his wealth yesterday. Surge in Tesla stock. He's now worth $256 billion. That's according to Forbes.
That's $250 billion.
But this morning's Wall Street Journal is putting a new spotlight on Mr. Musk, reporting that he had, quote, secret conversations with Vladimir Putin, among other items. The paper reports that Putin asked Musk to avoid activating his Starlink satellite internet service over Taiwan as a favor to Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Jeremy Rogers says, Anton, I seen you picked up a Hellcat. How fast is it? It's out of control. It scares me. It genuinely scares me. And I haven't even broken it in yet. They say that it doesn't really give you the full power of the car itself until after you drive it 500 miles. I haven't even put 50 miles on that car, to be honest with you. It's just sitting in the garage. And it's a very scary car. I don't know how people allow these young guys that's tree smoking and running around to actually drive that car and to even be able to buy that car. That car is a missile, a 4,000 or 5,000 pound missile on wheels. It is a very scary car, and you need to be responsible if you're buying that car. It is very fast, and I'm afraid of even putting my foot on the gas that much. I ain't even put the red key in that joint. The black key is out of control. It's out of control. So I got it parked. It is crazy. It's a crazy car.
Eamon Javers joins us from Washington. It is a story that is already making noise at this very early hour.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Andrew. This is an important and astonishing story here from the Wall Street Journal, an enormous scoop by them. I should say at the outset that CNBC has not been able to independently confirm all the information in this story, but to give you a sense, here's what the Wall Street Journal is reporting this morning. As you suggest, they're saying that Musk has been in regular contact with Vladimir Putin since late 2022. They're also saying that the discussions included personal topics, business, and geopolitical tensions, and saying that Putin asked Musk, as you say, not to activate Starlink over Taiwan as a favor to Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, we should say that the Wall Street Journal story here is sourced to a number of officials, American, European, and Russian officials, confirming the existence of these conversations, which have not been previously reported before. I spent the evening last night after this story broke talking with several former high-ranking U.S. intelligence officials, and here's what I can tell you their reaction was overnight. They're saying that it's unclear, first of all, if Musk has disclosed his contacts with Vladimir Putin as were required under his top-secret U.S. security clearance. They're also saying that failure to report contacts with foreign nationals can be grounds for suspension and in extreme cases, especially if it's deliberate failure to disclose foreign intelligence contact, the person could be charged with criminal charges. The U.S. may be trying to intercept Putin's communications, and Musk could have been recorded here, depending on the technology used. The NSA would normally refer to Musk as just U.S. person number one in any intelligence reports about those conversations. But if his identity is relevant here, U.S. intelligence reports may expressly reference Elon Musk's name in any reporting around any conversations between the two men that would have been intercepted by U.S. intelligence. We don't know any of that at this hour. There's still a lot that we don't know, including the exact content of these conversations. We don't know what Musk's intent was in having these conversations. Musk has been active on his social media platform this morning. I have not seen any comment from Elon Musk. We'll be eager to hear from him as soon as we can as to what his intent was in having these conversations with Vladimir.
Listen, I got a couple different opinions on this. Number one, if anybody cares to, if anybody actually has the patience, the intelligence, and the dedication to learn more about diplomacy, and I don't recommend it for people that are ignorant because I think that it could be a very dangerous book studying Henry Kissinger. If you haven't studied Henry Kissinger, Henry Kissinger died less than a year ago, and he was actually next to almost every single president in United States history during his lifetime. Henry Kissinger is a person that basically shaped, probably more than the presidents themselves, shaped the landscape by which the presidents operate. And Diplomacy is a very interesting and powerful book. And it was recommended to me by one of my managers when I was having trouble in corporate America. And he recommended this book called Diplomacy to me by Henry Kissinger. It's like 600 pages. And let me tell you what diplomacy looks like. Diplomacy looks like the most powerful person in the world, because Elon Musk, in my opinion, is very much Iron Man. He is very much Robert Downey Jr. from the movies and real life. And he is the only company that was able to go over to China and establish a company over in China, because they make cars over there as well as over here in the United States of America, as well as over in Germany, to where he didn't have to give half of the company and half of the profits over to a Chinese company in which he had to partner with. He did it 100% on his own. And so him being able to do that alone and having the power and the control with Starlink and SpaceX, and then him doing business in practically almost every country in the world at some point in some shape or form, whether it's with Tesla or any of his other companies, and then him supporting Trump and saying, listen, we need Trump in office and he can help end wars as well as audit the federal government and so on and so forth, is a benefit to the United States of America. I believe that the Biden-Harris administration and our federal officials are so fearful that people like him who are outsiders and Trump is going to completely drain the swamp, as well as get several different victories as far as getting us out of war and getting world peace. I believe that world peace is actually to the detriment of the United States government. that the war machine, especially how they tax citizens and capitalize and profit over what happens overseas in other countries, are so profitable, then it's one of the ways the Democratic Party is the war party. It's one of the ways that they maintain power. The last thing that they would like is diplomacy. The last thing that they would like is for you to work with your allies to ultimately end these proxy wars that we're funding here in the United States of America. I believe that it is. If you look at the federal budget, a lot of people don't understand what Congress argues over on a regular basis. If you look at our federal budget and how much that they put into our military, because the military is the main thing that allows for us to be one of the most powerful and profitable countries in the world. If you're looking at it and you understand it, why would they want Elon Musk, who is off the record or on the record, not off the record, on the record, the richest man in the world? Obviously, we know about Saudi money. They say that Vladimir Putin is probably a trillionaire. If we're really paying attention to it, wouldn't you want to have Iron Man on your team? Iron Man on your team is the most powerful thing you can have. And the fact that he's endorsing Donald Trump, yet Donald Trump is also saying we need Elon Musk or his team to head up and start to audit the federal government on every level in order to eliminate the waste spending while at the same time reducing the taxes for the American people. Come on, man. You need a person that is outside of being a career politician to get into office and to have a conversation about what needs to happen for the American people. This is CNN's take, along with Kevin O'Leary, on what is going on inside of our federal government and whether Elon Musk having conversations with Putin or over in China is a good thing or a bad thing.
Tonight, a headline from the Wall Street Journal that Elon Musk certainly will not like. The paper is reporting that Musk and Russian President Vladimir Putin have been in regular contact since 2022. Putin, according to the journal's sources, at one point even asked Musk to not activate his Starlink satellite internet service over Taiwan as a favor to fellow autocrat Xi Jinping of China. Now, Musk didn't reply to the journal's ask for comment, and the Pentagon didn't comment as well. The Kremlin did acknowledge one phone call, but said that the pair are not in regular contact. CNN has not been able to independently verify any of this reporting as of this hour, but this is a pretty big deal considering all the things about Elon Musk.
And especially concerning, like you said, Elon Musk has kind of become one of Donald Trump's biggest advisors. He's out there possibly doing something illegal already with trying to buy votes and the whole...
He's handing out $1 million checks.
Exactly, with the lotteries, exactly. And the DOJ, Department of Justice, has said, warned him this could possibly be illegal. I think we don't know what the details are, right? The U.S. officials don't really know. But
Not
it's
gonna happen,
certainly
Molly.
not something that our...
Molly, you know that money make the world go round. Power make the world go round. You know this.
National security officials are going to think that is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's take Trump and their relationship out of it for just a second. Elon Musk has a $1.8 billion classified contract with the United States government. And it raises a lot of big questions about what are we doing here? I mean, are we just...
We're working with the world's
No,
greatest
but I'm just wondering, I mean, if you have, too much credit card debt, you can't get a security clearance.
I mean, look,
so
he is the world's greatest.
what are we doing
I
here?
don't disagree with that.
You know what?
Great
This
with
is a
satellites, great with
nothing
rocket
burger
technology,
issue. Who
But, well, I
cares?
don't know about that. I have a lot of issues with someone that we're relying on for very sensitive information and technological advancements, working with Vladimir Putin, potentially working at the behest of Xi Jinping. These are two of our greatest adversaries. I got a big issue with that. And if this reporting is true, then we may need to reconsider some of these engagements that the federal government is having with Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. I think he's a brilliant guy. But this crap is not okay for a whole host of reasons. These countries are our adversaries. Their objective in every regard is to defeat the United States however possible. And so this does make me very, very nervous.
I read that news a different way. Basically,
I don't know about
you've
that,
got
Kevin.
the Supreme Leader of China saying, do not put that freedom of speech over Taiwan. I forbid you to do it.
They have no right to forbid that.
Wait.
This is an American
and Elon
company,
Musk,
Kevin. What are
just
you
like
talking
he
about,
did
Kevin?
over Ukraine, gave him the finger, said, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm Elon Musk, and that's exactly
I don't
what
know
happened.
that's not what, just to be clear.
I don't know why they don't listen to Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary is the richest and the smartest person that's up there on that panel. and they want to disrupt him at every turn. Let me tell you something. Why wouldn't Elon Musk? Because what they're proposing up there on that panel is that Elon Musk shouldn't even be in the ear of Xi Jinping over in China or in Putin at all. They shouldn't even have his phone number. Why wouldn't they have his phone number when he's invested over $50 billion over in China in order to build cars to obviously become profitable over there also? Why wouldn't he? It's called diplomacy. If you have an enemy, and let me just say this for the people in the back that may not understand exactly what business power and diplomacy looks like, and this is just my personal opinion, so take it as you will, take it with a grain of salt. If you have an enemy, often at times, your enemy, especially when you're looking at it from a business perspective, should be a person that you are in regular contact with. If you have an enemy, because that enemy, especially from a business perspective, put your thinking hats on, has a vested interest as well, just as much as you do. So if we both, let's say for example, you make a product, you got a car company, and I got a car company. Let's say you got Ford and GM. Okay. Now Ford and GM wants to outsell each other in cars. But Ford and GM also understands that if they push through these mandates on a legislative level, then both of us may be out of business. So what do? They form a lobbying. They form a lobby that allows for them to go up to Washington and then craft legislation in their favor to ensure that they'll both remain in business. Me and you are still enemies at the end of the day, but we also have a similar interest as well as vested interest in what is happening here in the United States of America. So why at some point wouldn't we also be diplomatic towards each other? Even though I want to sell more cars than you, let's bring it back on a very lower level. YouTube. It's some people that I don't like on YouTube. It's some straight up people that I genuinely don't care about on YouTube. But guess what? I don't want them to be censored. Even if it come at them talking about me negatively on YouTube. Well, why? Because then that would prevent me from being able to say what I want to say also. So then I would be more against censorship than I am against them in particular, because we both want YouTube to succeed and we both want to be profitable. So I'm not going to cut off my own income here on YouTube in order to go against them. I'm not going to destroy you in order to destroy myself. I don't hate you enough to kill myself. So then we both would have to work together in order to prevent censorship on YouTube. And then we got to figure out what that looks like individually or together. Maybe we need to have a phone call. Maybe we need to work together. But I'm not going to destroy you in order to destroy myself. So I'm against censorship, even though I don't like what you said against me. You understand what diplomacy looks like now? On a very and that's why I like to break it down from a C student's perspective. You understand? So him having an ear to China and even to Putin, would that also be in our best interest in order to solve for not having any new wars, especially if Donald Trump is the person that he's endorsing for president of the United States of America? Wouldn't it be good for Donald Trump to have an ear to or lie to Vladimir Putin instead of just going war? Because nobody wants a nuclear war. Guess what? You lose, I lose, everybody burns up. I love my country more than I hate you. And so the goal is ultimately to find out where it is that we can come together to have some kind of diplomatic conversation and figure out, what do you want and what are you willing to make a concession on, and what do I want and what am I willing to make a concession on? The problem with the United States of America today is that people are so far left and so far right, especially the people that's way left, they're willing to destroy America in order to not let Donald Trump become president of the United States of America, even though they know Kamala Harris is a horrible candidate. There is no bipartisan agreement because things have become so far right and so far left that now they're labeling each other as the enemy, and they're using things that's not even true to justify why they voting for somebody. That's why when you hear people, and this is a dangerous rhetoric, This is so dangerous where we living at today. When you hear people say, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because I don't like Donald Trump, that is a problem to me. Because then that means that you hate him so much that you're willing to vote against your own best interest. If you tell me, listen, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because A, B, C, and D, and this is how it benefits me as a person, I'm cool with it because who you are and what you need in your life may be different from me and what you stand for. But when I see Kamala Harris supporters, and this is why it bothers me when she's on a CNN town hall or on an interview or at a rally and she says, but Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and she says, and she mentions him more than she mentions her own policy, that means that she's fear-mongering and they're trying to convince people to not like him and to vote against him instead of voting for her. And that's a problem. You know why? Because that means that your hate supersedes your love even for yourself. And so I can't rock with it. It doesn't make sense to me. Because then that means that I can't negotiate with you. I can't have bipartisan agreement with you. I can't even meet in the middle with you. I can't even have a conversation with you because you're so far gone and removed and operating in hate that there is no bipartisan agreement. There is no bridge to cross. There is no common ground that we can have with each other because you hate so much that you'll even hate yourself and kill and destroy your own self-interests because you don't like me or you don't like him so much more than you love yourself. That's crazy to me. I can tolerate somebody on the left saying, I'm voting for her because, but when they say I'm voting against him, that's how I know you're full of the devil. That's how I know, because listen, you can't have light and darkness in the same place. You can't have light and darkness in the same place. And when you hate somebody so much that you're voting against them instead of voting for your candidate, I know that you lost. I know that you lost. And there's nothing that we can do to save you. And so now we just got to remove you from the equation because there is no negotiating with a terrorist. That's where I stand. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Listen, you know Anton gonna get to it. You know I'm gonna get to it. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're gonna move over to the next part of the show. Some people are saying, Anton, why is it all of a sudden more darker over there? Because I'm 7 hours ahead of y'all. So whereas it's 11:33, it's really 6:33 p.m. here. And remember when I showed y'all how light and how bright it was? Well, guess what? It's now dark. So yeah, I'm in a weird space as a content creator because I'm still creating content, but then at the same time, my times is off. My times is completely off. Victor Williams says, Siri, play me Cry Me a River by Van Jones. Shout out to Victor Williams. I appreciate you. Tyler Banks says, AD, speaking of Elon and Hellcats, thoughts on Plaid? Never drove one. I've never drove one before. Aaron L says, something like this being on any public platform like CNN means that it's not real and it's not the same narrative that they're speaking about. Fob Brown is in the building, says, AD, this is the equivalent of when two black people turn on Ice Cube for sitting with Trump in 2020 just in case he won. You're 100% right. People have no foresight or insight. Chef 673 says, the report about Elon doing this has been confirmed as being true yet. I think this is the start of a smear campaign. Why wait about 2 years to report this and only after the endorsement of Trump? Y'all see what the play is. Let's go into the last part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's deep dive. I want to talk about migrants, okay? Let's talk about migrants. We got huge migrant caravans that's still on the way here to the United States of America. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description to get your tickets to kick it with me in person. Discount code Anton. It's going to be awesome next weekend.
Fox News alert, Vice President Kamala Harris in a tough spot at a town hall when she tried to answer questions about the border crisis, which exploded on her watch. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Anderson Cooper, CNN, was pressing Kamala Harris about the border.
3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact.
Somebody said, where am I at? I'm in Bucharest. I'm in Romania. So you can see this. Actually, the lights just started coming on. It's pretty crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. See the lights is coming on? The street lights and stuff? Everything is starting to come on. It's pretty crazy here. The time zone differences is insane. When I was in Japan, I think I was 12 hours. I had a 12-hour difference.
Really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
I think we did the right thing.
You criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that. So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what
Anderson Cooper was on her head top.
he did and how he did it did not make.
Yes, I am standing in Old Town. What you know about Old Town? What you know about Old Town? Yes, I am standing. Y'all be knowing. Y'all be knowing exactly where I'm at. Shout out to y'all. Yes, I am standing in Old Town. Let's get to it. Carrie will be on the live stream tonight, y'all.
Much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Sounded like she didn't know what was in the bill. A new poll shows, well, which candidate do they actually trust to handle the border better?
Why is this?
More than half of voters.
Why is this even a question? How are people even putting 44%? See, that's what I'm saying. I think that people just be voting, just be saying stuff. You know that Trump is better for the border and immigration than Kamala Harris. That's not even a question.
This poll saying former President Donald Trump would be better on immigration. This is all the while a report says that there is a massive group of another one of those caravans. Look at your screen. 150,000 of these people.
When immigrants, illegal migrants, say that we are putting together a caravan because in less than 2 weeks, we're going to know who's going to be president of the United States of America. People outside of America is saying that in less than 2 weeks, they're going to know who's going to be the president of the United States of America. And it's a strong possibility that Trump could win. And if he wins, we need to already be over there and we need to be figuring out how we can hide. When they have a migrant caravan of over 150,000 people coming over here to the United States of America, that should tell you who's better for the border and who isn't. Because if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country.
Are being held in Mexico until after
they know that
the
Kamala
election
gonna
day.
win, why they running?
So that's a blessing. At least they can hold them for a little bit, but that feels
Look at that. Y'all know how much 150,000? That's in addition to the people that's already been flown over and people that's already trying to get here. Do y'all know how much 150? Do y'all know how many 150,000 people are? It's crazy.
Awfully political.
Yay! I got my luggage. Yay! Tom Dog got luggage. Good job, Rita Ree. Can you pass me that? Good job, Rita Ree. Rita Ree got Tom Dog his luggage. That's why you need a real one. Finally got my luggage. That's what I'm talking about.
So if Kamala Harris wins, they don't come in. And if Donald Trump wins, they let them in after Election Day? Like, how is it going to work? Some of those people say that they are afraid a Trump victory would keep them out of the United States. Well, if they're coming in illegally, they're not wrong. Senator Rick Scott called out the Biden administration's inaction to actually strengthen our nation's border.
They don't care that terrorists are coming across our border, drugs are coming across our border, criminals are coming across our border, and they don't support the police. So how violent do they want this country to be? She takes no responsibility for anything in her job.
How violent? The New York Post editorial board also criticizing the White House with this. Harris Biden's last-minute migrant moves are an attempt to hide their border mess. National correspondent Griff Jenkins. Griff.
And Harris, border officials are concerned that some of those migrants in Mexico could be part of the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA as they are known, and they're taking a foothold across the country. DHS says they've identified more than 600 migrants with possible ties to the gang. Some could be relatives or victims, but more than 100, Harris, have been deemed subjects of interest and referred to the FBI's watch list for transnational criminal organizations. TDA is suspected in crimes in 15 states: Arizona, Texas, Chicago, New York, Georgia, and Florida. Just on.
No, not Michigan. Please, no, listen. Come on, y'all. Come on, not Michigan. Get on up out of here, man. Get on up out of here. We don't like that. We don't like that in Michigan.
Monday, the man accused of sex trafficking a 15-year-old girl in Palm Beach County is being investigated for TDA ties. The gang has also been linked to the murders of Jocelyn Nungare and Laken Riley in the shooting of NYPD cops. Florida's Attorney General blames the Biden-Harris administration.
They've let them come in. They've barely vetted them. Now we're seeing them pop up all over our nation. And they cannot, even if they tried to do it now, cannot send them back to Venezuela because Venezuela says we won't accept them.
DHS says the gang is still in an infancy stage, but they're targeting them as a threat. Saying,
why would they accept them? Hey, listen, it's 2024. As a recording of this video, October 25th, right? Watch the trend under the I don't even know what the name of this gang is. The TDA. We're just going to say TDA. TDA is going to be just as prominent as the Crips, the Bloods, the GDs, the Vice Lords. What if they wind up becoming super prominent and it's all as a result of this administration that we currently have in office right now?
As part of our work to counter TDA, DHS has an ongoing operation to crack down on gang members through rescreening certain individuals previously encountered, in addition to the rigorous screening and vetting at the border. This all comes, Harris, as a House Judiciary Committee report today released claims the Biden-Harris administration has used the immigration court backlog as an excuse to allow nearly 1 million illegal migrants to stay in the U.S., calling it a quiet amnesty. Now, the report cites briefings to the committee revealing more than 700,000 immigration cases that were dismissed, terminated, or administratively closed and, quote, allow those aliens to stay in the country indefinitely without facing immigration consequences.
This is so bad. I don't think that I've seen anything worse. I'm starting to compare Kamala Harris Biden to George W. The second one. I don't know which one is worse. The only reason that I can't say that Kamala Harris and Biden is worse than George W. is because I'm rich now. So I'm largely unaffected by what happens. You know, almost to the point to where when I see these migrants, it's funny because I'm building houses now. And a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, man, I got a whole crew full of migrants and they can get to it. My dumb butt is saying, no, man, I'm only American first. I got, what's his name? Let me call Rita. I think his name is Bob. He a white man. Slow and lazy. Hey. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm overseas. It calls differently.
Hello.
Hey, what's the first name of the guy that we waiting on to finish his part in the house?
Are you on live?
Yes, I'm on live. What's his first name again?
Are you sure?
What's the first name? Just it's a very.
You're about to be watching your stuff, babe.
It's just a one name. It's a whole lot of them. I'm sure it's a lot of these names. What's his first name?
The name of your brother.
Oh, okay, but he's not my brother though.
No.
All right, bye. Greg. That's that man's name. That man's name is Greg. I keep waiting on Greg. If Greg don't get his butt over there and get to working. Greg says, and he a white man too. Greg is working to the beat of his own drum. Now, I got 2 other houses that I done already broke ground on. I'm waiting on Greg to finish his part in the original one so that I can finish my Patreon video and break down all of the true costs and what my obstacles were as far as how I'm gonna get this stupid house done so I can get it rented out. Greg is taking a long time. We got the floors done, we got the driveway done now. Everything is hung up. I'm waiting on Greg. I'm waiting on White Greg. Right, White Greg. I said, White Greg, what you got going on, man? What's going on? You know, White Greg come over, he working blue jean shorts. Love God. Definitely a little slower than I want. Does great work though. The quality of his work, my stupid butt keep on waiting on Greg to get done. I could have had Jesus and Miguel and Jesus and them, they would have had that junk done like that. Less than 2 days, they would have did what Greg is doing in 2 months. Rita keep calling me. Yeah, Greg said that he gonna be over there today. Greg need to be over there every day. He got the code to get in there, the key code to get in there. Greg, get your butt in there. Inspector's waiting on him like, hey, Greg done? The point that I'm making about this is that either way, I benefit. And that's the only reason why I'm not saying that this administration is much worse than the second Bush. That's the only reason I'm saying that they're not worse than the second Bush is because I was broke then. That second Bush caused me to go broke because I wasn't financially prepared and I wasn't a bag chaser back then. I had good energy. I was working hard, but I wasn't as much of a bag chaser. However, this term, 2020 through 2024, could quite possibly go down as one of the worst forever. I got my luggage, so I'm about to clean up. I'm about to get in the shower, shave my head, get the stubble off my head, and get it popping. But y'all do have over 150,000 new migrants that's on their way over here in the United States of America. Make out of that what you will. See the luggage over there? I got my luggage right here. Everything is good, all right? Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me read some of the super chats. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. After Hours tonight, we getting it popping. Make sure you get your tickets to come and see me next weekend in Atlanta. I can't wait to kick it with y'all. Let's deep dive. Keyshawn White says they hate Trump more than they love America. That's a fact. Chris Mayberry says, now you see why it's so dark when we on our coaching calls. Yeah. It's pitch black now. I see what it looked like outside. It went pitch black. Outside of the street lights. Let me see. Yep. Every time Harris speaks, the song playing in my head. Y'all crazy. Y'all insane. Bush Baby Boxing. Look at that logo. Look at that avatar. Kamala gets moist when she bring up Trump. It's almost like she got a crush on him. Maybe she do. I don't know. Michael Penix is in the building. Says migrants are seen. Join the caravan of love. Annie Marie says best wife ever is Rita. I think y'all like Rita more than y'all like me. Bay dropping tapes like Lil Durk. Man, listen, that dude going to jail for the rest of his life. Keyshawn White says we focus on white versus black and not the invasion. When we finally unite as Americans, it's going to be too late. Kung Fu Hustler says we need fast eraser of societal errors like these. Fly girl candy, just like candy. Breaking news now, federal judges ordered Virginia to put illegals back on the ballot. Illegal aliens can now vote. Are you serious? All right, let me deep dive. I'm going to keep y'all up to date again. Make sure y'all tap in the after hours. Today it's going to be awesome. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to everybody that sent cash apps. Also, I can't see them right now, but I definitely will be acknowledging y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Time Dog is about to go and shave his head and get myself together. Y'all have a phenomenal weekend. I will never miss again. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.